Eric and I are here with a special guest. Welcome, Mr. Gordon. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Eric Gordon. I'm the Superintendent CEO of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. Thank you for coming out today.
Okay, thank you for having me. All right. So, we can start with the questions.
Great.
So, what are some your priorities while you're in office?
Well, my single biggest priority is to help young people like you get an even deeper, better education, and particularly important to me is that it's done in a contextual learning environment, which is exactly what you model. It's by doing things, it's by touching things, it's by running things, it's by the robotics competitions and all the things you do. So my goal is to make sure that students just like you have more and more opportunities, because if I give you more of those opportunities, you're going to get a better education.
Okay. So, what are some of your future plans while you're in office?
Well, a big one for us is we have to open up a lot more schools and programs that give students just like you opportunities to do what you're doing. So we've opened our new tech programs, we've opened our STEM programs, we've opened programs for students in arts, we've opened programs with community service components to it, and we need to open a lot more of those all the way across the city so that no matter where you live, you have opportunities to do things like you kids are doing today.
How important do you think plans for CMSD schools are, like the technology you put into the regular school?
You know, I think technology is critical to the education that you're going to have in your lifetime, but I actually think we have to skip over what people consider the typical technologies, the traditional computer and the whiteboard and smartboard, and I think we have to really look at the smart devices. You know, how do we use your cell phone so that you can interact through the digital communications? How do we use Nooks and e-readers to put information at your fingertips wherever you are? How do we put you into technologies like the robotics competitions where you're touching and building and constructing, as opposed to fancy chalkboards that we use in very traditional ways,
Yeah.
which you see in your classes all the time. So I think for us it's about investing beyond what's already here and really taking the smart technologies and leveraging it so that you can do many more things.
Do you use technology in everyday use?
I use technology, I would say every day. I rely heavily on my BlackBerry to stay in touch, and I'm tweeting now thanks to students who taught me how to do that, so you should be following me. I also use traditional production technologies, so I use PowerPoint and Excel and Word and document producers like that. So yeah, I use technology a lot, and that's exactly the point, right? It's not the point of how do we use a whiteboard to be a fancy chalkboard. It's how do we give you opportunities to use the production tools, the research tools, the construction tools, the smart tools that allow you to interact in the social media and interact with just-in-time information. That's where I think we got to take our school system.
So, while incorporating technology into like STEM schools and art academy schools, how important would you say it is for students to use and learn about technology daily?
Well, it is a tool to do the learning that you're going to do. And so it's an important tool, but it is a tool. And we have to make sure that we use it as a tool and not as the teacher or as the goal, right? So what we don't want is for us to put you as students into a room full of computers like we used to do and just say, sit in front of this program and do the problems, right? We want you instead to say, build that robot, and to do that, you better go out and find out what you got to know about how to build that robot, and you got to know the safety pieces, and know how to do that kind of thing, and be able to use online manuals on your Nook that's in front of you so that you can research stuff right on the fly, and so we really need to teach you how to use them as tools to get to your goal of what you want to learn, what you want to be able to do, not as the teachers or as the goal on their own.
Okay. How has Team 1270 impressed you, like in the way we use technology and the way we build stuff?
Well, your team is exactly what it's all about, right? 1270 takes a whole bunch of stuff and turns it into this operating, functioning robot that you've taken to competitions that you've won in, that you're competing now to go to the next level in. So from a whole bunch, I would love it if every one of our schools had a garage where we just had stuff in it, and we said, okay, go in the garage and play. And when you come out with that play, come out with something brilliant, right? Something that can pick up and drop off, something that can move things, something that can interact with people. It's just exactly what you're doing. So you're my role models in what we could do for every kid in our city. And now will every kid do it through 1270 and robotics competition? No. They can do it through their arts. They can do it through music. They can do it through studying literature. But how do you use all of these tools like you're using to create a reason to learn all the stuff that I know you need to know?
How do you think science, technology, engineering, math helps with everyday success as a student?
Well, we don't know the world you're going to live in. When I was in high school, the internet didn't even exist. And I'm not that old. Smartphones didn't exist, right? So we don't know what tools you're going to have to use. So the importance of science, technology, engineering, and math is that you have those skills to be able to construct the world you're going to live in. Because I can't teach you what your world's going to look like. I don't know. But I can teach you to be ready for the world you're going to live in. And that's where the STEM, the STEM sciences really become important.
All right.
So, what is one of your favorite parts in being in office?
This, I only do this because I get to work with young people like you, and this is what it's all about. And if you get to be successful and I got to be a part of that, that's why I do this.
Okay. How do you think 1270 has helped our community?
Well, again, I think that 1270 is a model of how, creating contextual experiences for young people creates the opportunity to learn really deeply. And that's what this is all about. It also creates opportunities for you to have productive and constructive things to do in out-of-school time so that you're not at risk for a victim of crime, for example, because you have somewhere to go and something to do that's really meaningful and that's helping you become even better educated and better prepared for the world you're going to lead.
All right.
Well, thank you for being at this interview. So
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Well done.
Go. You gotta say go 1270.
Oh, go 1270.